developed wonderfully over the last 12 months, 18 months and more as a boxer. You must be delighted with what you've seen so far, Frank, the way he's coming through.
I was delighted when I see of him as an amateur, albeit was as a senior, but he only had the 7 senior bouts. So I was delighted when I see with that. What he's done since he's been a pro is being punch perfect. Everything he's done it professionally. He's really worked hard. Him and Martin Bowers, who trains him, has done a fantastic job with him. Tony's done a great job as on the management side, but it's a great team, and everybody's working hard together to make this happen. But he has gone from strength to strength, and I think, and I mean it, at this stage of his career, like I said when I signed him, but certainly at this stage of his career, he's the best young heavyweight I've seen in British boxing and that I've been involved with at this stage of his career. He's got to go on still and do the business and win a world title. But what I'm seeing at the moment, he's ticked a lot of boxes. We've seen he's got stamina. We know he can punch. People thought he was a one-trick pony with a punching, but he showed he's got a great jab. He's got a brilliant jab. He can box. And he's been clipped a couple of times in fights against guys who've got good knockout records, and he's taken the shots. I don't want to see him doing that anymore, but he's taken the shots. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, he's done brilliantly, and he's got to come through this one, and hopefully he does come through it, and then next year set himself up for some really big eye-catching fights.
Daniel, headline act once again in London at the Copper Box Arena. How happy are you with the way that your career, from your perspective, is going right now?
I'm very happy. It's gone perfect to plan, and I've won every, fight I've come through, and I've learned from each fight I've had, and I've progressed and improved as in and out of the ring. So I couldn't ask for more, really.
And pleased with the way in which your career is being handled, the way in which you're moving forward? Definitely.
With Frank Warren, one of the best promoters in the business, and Queensbury Promotions, and my team, Martin and Tony Bowers, we're going. And, my dad, obviously, who's been with me from the start, I think we're going to go all the way.
Daniel, tell us again, I mean, I know we've talked about this in the past, but the work you put in with Martin down at the Peacock, the way in which you've progressed, how much in debt are you to the work that they put in as well as what you're producing?
Oh, very much. They've, organised a whole hell of a lot for me, behind closed doors, sparring and, all the hard work they put in with me in the gym, it's paid off, and it's going to continue paying off, and I'm going to make sure I become a success.
Can you feel that you're getting stronger and better by the week?
Definitely. I think each camp I've been in, I've improved. So it's all coming together. So one day, when I'm in a position of fighting for a world title, I'm more than ready.
Frank's, you've heard him just say he wants to see you being in the position of being a mandatory challenger, possibly as quickly as within the next 12 months. I should imagine you can't wait, can you?
No, it's an exciting new chapter, and in boxing it's all about challenges, and having a world title as a challenge, this is the pinnacle of the sport, and if I can get there as soon as possible and be in that position, then I'm more than ready for it.
And it's all about timing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Timing, time is everything. So, get the right timing and everything. My team, everything. Frank knows what he's doing in this sport. He's been in the sport long enough, and I just continue. I just continued, winning in style and winning in fashion. I think I'll get there real soon.
Have you had a chance to look at Fujimoto? What does he bring as a fighter? You're a lot taller than he is.
Honestly, I haven't heard of a lot of heavyweights coming out of Japan. I'm glad, it's interesting. I'm the one fighting one, and it's going to be a hell of a challenge. He's going to come and bring his all, but I'm going to be more than ready, and to take him out in devastating fashion.
The world is starting to, has started to sit up and take notice. You've been recognised on the other side of the Atlantic as being perhaps the hottest young prospect in the world today. How much is life changing as people start to realise what you're about?
My profile is obviously it's helping massively that, you know, the boxing audience in general is starting to recognise me more and, you know, take notice of me more and you know, start rating me as a good up and coming fighter. And it's all down to the hard work I put in with my dad and my team behind me, and, you know, Frank getting the right fight. So it's ongoing process, and I'm more than ready for the next step.
Does it embarrass you, or do you like the recognition that comes with fame? Do you like the fact that people say, "There's Daniel Dubois"?
Yeah, I love it. It's part of the game, and it's, you know, the recognition and all that. It's what I've been working for in the gym since I was 5 years old, and to be known for what you do and be good at it is couldn't ask for more in life, really.
We heard Tommy Fury a few minutes ago talking about it being so important that you keep your feet on the ground. Are your feet still firmly planted?
Absolutely. I'm still under, you know, my dad's, you know, he bosses me around the house, and I just take it easy day by day, and I do what I can do, and I'm what I'm good at, and other than that, I'm just trying to be a humble guy.
Frank, just a word or two from you on that, about what it's like working with Daniel, because I remember once, I hope you don't mind me mentioning this, you once said, "I'm in the business of creating monsters. Sometimes they're not only fightingly or boxing-wise extremely powerful, hard men, but sometimes as the fame comes, they become increasingly difficult to handle." But I get the impression that this guy is going to be a little bit of an exception to that.
Well, I'll tell you something, he's definitely got his feet on the floor, there's no doubt about that, and his dad, I don't think we'll let him, I don't think we'll in any way let him do it be any different. But what you see with Daniel is exactly what you get. There's no walking out of here and he's a different guy. This is the guy. You know, you're getting exactly how he is. And he's, you know, he's a joy to work with. He's in love with boxing. There's no doubt about that. That's what he wants to be. That's his profession. That's what he's good at doing. And his mission, and he's told me this, and I know it, and that's why I got so excited about it when I signed him. His mission is to become not just world champion, to unify the titles. And he's more than capable of doing it. And I'll tell you this now, I could make a world title fight for him tomorrow, and I think he'd win it. I really do. Whoever he clips, they'll go. He's a big puncher. If he catches them, they'll go. But he needs that little bit more experience. It's easy making these fights. It's all about, at the end of the day, when you make them, to make sure that you can go on and defend them. And he just needs that little bit more experience, and he'll be there. But he's for me, he is a phenomenal young fighter, young heavyweight. He's the most exciting young heavyweight in the world for me, bar none.
We've seen Frank Bruno, we've seen Lennox Lewis, we've seen Anthony Joshua, we've seen Tyson Fury. Where does Daniel rank and sit in that particular sort of galaxy of stars?
Well, when you look at his age, and you look where he is right now, he's well up there and maybe a bit in front of them, because they were still amateurs. I think Lennox turned pro 23, 24. I mean, he's fighting obviously good quality fighters in the amateurs, but, you know, he's a pro. He is where he is. You know, Anthony Joshua, again, done the same thing, but he sparred with Anthony Joshua. I'm not going to embarrass him, but he sparred with Anthony Joshua, and, you know, everybody in the trade knows what happened, so we won't go into that. But there are other, you know, you look at all those guys you mentioned, and, you know, for me, he's as good as, if not better at them at this stage of his career.
Who'd you like to get in the ring against if you were going to get that world title opportunity in 12 months? Where would you like to be?
Whoever has the belts and whoever brings the most. Obviously, I'm in a position, I'm a contender coming up, so whoever's got the title and whoever Frank matches me against, I'll take him on.
And it's all about who's going to be there. You know, at the moment, you've got Tyson, providing Deontay comes through his fight this month. He'll fight Wilder on the 22nd of February, so that's tied up. And they'll probably have you know, depending on that, the outcome of that, there may be a rematch there. Anthony Joshua Ruiz, we're going to find out in December. And then they've got some mandatories. So by the time this all settles, and by the time what we're doing, what our plan is between us, the team, is to get him in the position so who's ever standing there, you know, maybe this time next year or before, with a bit of luck, he'll be equipped, ready to go and win the belt, or those belts, depending who holds them. But he will be in a number one spot. There is no doubt about that. I will make sure that happens. He keeps winning, that's where he's going to be. And and let me tell you, there's a lot of brave promoters and brave managers in this business with fighters. It's very easy to do it, you know, it's like a peeing contest. My guy's better than yours. But at the end of the day, you've got to have some confidence in who you're with, who you're working with. And I've got the utmost confidence in Daniel by, as I say, this time next year or before, hopefully before, maybe just before, he's going to do the business.
And you've always said it's not about making the fight, it's about making the career.
Of course it is, and he's got a great future in front of him. I mean, you know, some of these guys out there at the moment have got, have got a great future behind them. He's got it in front of him, and that's where he's at. And some of these fellas may not be around, but one thing's for sure: what I really, you know, I love my boxing. I love watching the fights. I love watching good quality fighters. One thing about Daniel's got in his armoury is something that every great heavyweight has had, and that's a jab. Larry Holmes had a great jab. Ali had a great jab. You can look at all the really good quality fighters, the longevity of their careers was the jab, and he's got a great jab. He's got a jab that he can knock you over with. He's a strong guy, and remember, not everybody gets knocked over. Sometimes they can absorb the punches. They can, you know, they can fiddle about and mess around. Then you've got to get back to plan B, and that's what he's been working on, and that's why I'm so pleased at how he's, you know, what I see of him with that, you know, with the jab and how well he works behind that, and how well Martin's worked with him to help him develop that. It's been brilliant.
Is that something that they very much preach to you in the gym, Daniel?
Oh yeah, definitely. Since the day I started with him, it's been the basic fundamentals of boxing, and it's paid off, you know, up until now. So I'm never going to abandon that.
Frank mentions two great names of the past, of Larry Holmes, who had that fantastic jab, Muhammad Ali, Lennox Lewis, another one. How much of a student of the sport are you? Do you watch these people and learn?
Oh yeah, I've been a student since the day I fell in love with the sport. Since I started boxing, I've been obsessed by it, and, you know, understanding what shots to throw and the different techniques you can use in a fight. It's been it's what I'm all about, and being the best at it is what I was striving for.
Who do you think had the best jab in history?
Oh, there's many. You know, Larry Holmes for sure, one of them. I think even, you know, there's Lennox Lewis. There's so many. Even Mike Tyson, even though he was short, he made good use of his jab, and, you know, his leverage he got into shots. So the sport is filled with great fighters, and I just want to make sure I go down as a legend at the end of it when it's all said and done.
And you've got to remember, all the current guys, he sparred with all of them. All the names that are out there now, he sparred with them all already, and held his own.
You've sparred all the top men?
Most of them, yeah, most of them.
And it went okay?
It's all secrets.
And it went okay? We don't ask too many details, but it went okay?
Yeah, I've definitely more than held my own.
I think this twinkle in his eye kind of tells its own story, doesn't it? Yeah. You know, from a commentator's perspective, it's been so clear over the last 3 or 4 fights, the way in which the public is really waking up and warming to Daniel Dubois. He's becoming, like those big names that we mentioned, like those great figures of the past, he's starting to really enthuse the British boxing public. When you go out and you met with that fantastic reception which you're now getting, just put into your own words what it's like to get that when you make your way to the ring.
It's an adrenaline pump, and it's an energy surge for me when I enter the arena and approach battle. You know, I'm sure it's every fighter's, you know, dream to have it, and to have that, you know, support behind me, and the support of the boxing public and the people in general. It's amazing.
Is there a fear factor as well? Because, I mean, even Mike Tyson has admitted that even when he was in his prime, he went in there and people thought he was this incredibly intimidating guy, but he was also frightened, and that fear gave him the edge.
No, yeah, definitely. The fear can propel you to doing things you never thought you could do. And for my whole career, fear has been a number one asset for me. And, you know, it's a weapon, and I use it every time I enter a fight.
We're looking forward to seeing you in this last fight before Christmas. It's going to be a hot ticket, and it's an ideal Christmas present, isn't it?
It is. You know, he's sold out. These last couple of shows have sold out, and this one certainly will. So, and especially when we announce the rest of the card. So, I'm absolutely delighted. This is Britain's. He's the man. The future of British heavyweights are here. And let me tell you another fight that we can think about next year. Him and Joe Joyce. There's another collision there. There's so many good fights to be made in this, just domestically. That's where we're at.
Where is Joe at now? He's
Hook, who won the purse bids for his fight.
Marco Hook.
His company didn't come up with the money for the fight, so we're trying to find out from the EBU what's going on.
So that could yet be over here.
Who knows? Who knows? We'll see what happens. But the name of the game is to keep the guys busy and build the big fights, give the fights, the fights that the fans want to see, and that's what we're going to do. We'll be working hard to make that happen. A big step for him in December against Fujimoto. It's a big step for him. It gets him, as I mentioned earlier, gets him the rating, gets him the ranking, and it's for the WBC silver belt, which was held by Dillian White until was it a couple of fights ago. Yep. So he's following his footsteps, and you know where that led to. That led to him getting into the number one position, so that Tyson Fury could fight for the title. But it's connections, boys. But anyway, so that's where he's at. But he gets that belt, then he'll get up there and he'll be in the top in all these divisions, in the WBO, BC, BA. And even the IBF, he will be up there in the top three within the next two fights, guaranteed.
Daniel, I know you're not a braggart. I know you're not somebody to go out there and shout the odds, but if you could give a little message to your fans who are thinking, shall I come? Shall I not come? Will I be there? Will I not be there? What have you got to say to them?
Oh, definitely. Your support is, it's the last final part of training and all the hard work I put in. It's to be, to perform in front of the crowd and the boxing public in general is what just what I train for, to exhibit my skills and, to show the public and the audience what I'm capable of. And on fight now, I'm going to do what I've done all my previous fights and go in there to win in devastating fashion.
So it's a case of get there, be there, and enjoy the moment. Share the journey.
Definitely. You don't want to miss it.
Right, well, more undercard fights will be announced in due course, Frank, but an exciting bill in prospect.
We've got some really good fights on there, some of our great young talent, and it'll be a good night. The fight before Christmas, make sure you're there. Be there for it.
Absolutely. Well, Daniel's here, and we'll do any interviews which you guys want, photographs, etc. as well. Tommy's still around outside, so there'll be plenty of opportunities. They're not going anywhere. So thank you very much for coming. Any questions from the floor? Colin.
We know you want to be the best heavyweight in the world. You also want to be the best dressed heavyweight in the world.
Questions, does he want to be the best dressed heavyweight in the world? We're the best dressed team, don't worry about it.
Morning, Daniel. People we've been talking about, Wilder, Fury, Joshua, Ruiz. Who in your view is the best at the moment of those?
Honestly, I think it's shared a piece between all three of them. And after this AJ fight comes, whoever comes out on top of that, then I'll have it on, the winner of that is number one or number two or number three. It doesn't really, they all share the piece for me.
Do you think you'll get his titles back?
It's up for grabs. It could turn out the same way again, but it's a pick and fight. Whoever wants it the most wins for me.
Daniel, you mentioned fear when you were speaking with John just a moment ago. What is it that you are fearful of? Could you elaborate on that? Is it fear of the occasion? Is it fear of the opponent? Is it fear of not doing yourself justice? what is it within that word of fear that you use as an asset to take you to the greater heights you spoke of?
Fear of, you know, it's a lot. It's fear of, you know, my own anxieties, and just in general of, I want to do myself proud, and I don't want to let down the people I care about and my family and everyone else. So it's pressure, but I need pressure to survive and strive in this industry, and I welcome, all points of it. I don't want to let my team down, or Frank Warren and everyone else in this that's got my back.
Any more for any more? Right, well, thank you very much for that. And the guys will be around, as I say, for photographs and any interviews that you require. Thank you very much for coming and being with us here today.